Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine here with DR Holistic Healer, aka Sonia B. I am back with several prophetic messages. Very important messages, very urgent messages. So I advise you, but do what you will, I advise you to listen to the very end because there are some very important messages that are about to take place. If they haven't already happened for some of you, and just depends on your location on the planet. So with all that being said, let's get right in. For those of you who are new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. And for those of you who return it back, I want to say welcome back. Yes, I have a piece of paper taped to my chest because I'm just trying to disclose the name that's on here. So yes, I'm not tripping. But anyway, so with all that being said, keep in mind that if these energies are not happening to you, they could be happening to someone that is around you or within your vicinity or just somebody within your family, coworker, sister, cousin, boss, mother. Take it how it resonates. But excuse me, because this was I feel like an urgent message. I didn't have time to do what it is I need to do before getting on the camera. So I just got finished walking the dog not too long ago and was up very early this morning. So I say all that to say, I just want to get this message to you and before events start to unfold. So anyway, as I said before, I advise you to listen to the very end because there are like 8 different messages in here. So take it how it resonates because some of them may apply to you and some of them may not apply to you. But I just want to get you the messages. So anyway, so with all that being said, for those of you who do not know, I'm an intuitive, clairvoyant, Hayoka empath who receives divine prophetic dream messages, to help assist souls on their spiritual journey during this time. I receive information from God's soul spirit in order to help assist you, so that way that when certain information is presented to you, and if it's resonating with you at that specific time, and even if it's not resonating with you at that time, does not mean that it may not resonate with you in the near future. So keep that in mind as well, too. So I say all that to say that, sometimes we are presented with different choices in our life. We come to a crossroad where we have to make a choice about something. And this is one of the decisions that we're having to do so. So it's a matter of once you receive the information, once you're presented with the situation, it's a matter of, do you go left or do you go right? Or I've presented the information to you in advance. So therefore, if you have time to think about if the situation presents itself, how you're going to choose and choose accordingly. So anyway, it's kind of like allowing you to see what's to come before it comes, in a sense. Anyway, so let's get into the messages. So I have 8 different messages. And again, these messages are pretty urgent. So, just be mindful because there's a couple of trigger warnings in here. So I just want to let you know that. But anyway, so let's start. So the first dream that I received, and bear with me as I tell you guys these stories. I'm trying to narrow it down, but I'm trying to give you the perspective of what I saw because your situation may be just a little different. And keep in mind that if I say whether it's a male energy or a female or what this person was doing, it doesn't always mean that it have to be that particular male or female archetype, because if I'm referring to, sometimes I will say if I saw, but if I'm not sure, I'll say it's an energy, because that energy could be meaning like myself, as an example. I carry more masculine energy than I do carry feminine energy, just because I'm an Aquarius. So I say all that to say I have both masculine and female energy, but Aquarius carry more masculine energy. So it has nothing at all to do with, wanting to be the head, or it is just what it is. Different signs carry different energies, that's why it's important to know thyself, so that way you know who you are. Some men may carry more feminine energy and some women may carry more masculine energy. Does not mean that all women carry masculine energy. It just depends on what you have going on in your natal chart and so on and so on. So anyway, so with all that being said, okay, so the first dream that I saw was, it came in a form like God showed me some sort of destruction kind of taking place. And it was as if and I'm just giving you the scenarios. So bear with me. And then you have to kind of alter it to if you find yourself dealing with the situation with a friend, family, or coworker, whatever you may be possibly dealing with, So it showed me that myself, and I felt like 3 other people was with me in a sense, and we had arrived somewhere, but for some particular reason, it came in a form of as if I was concerned, or I was going to check up on my mom, should I say. So I say all that to say that I say all that to say it came in a form as if my sister, she was like crying and boo-hooing where I was calm, cool, and collect. And it's almost like my sister was trying to use her intuition in order to be guided of what she should do. So in other words, to me, it was coming from a perspective of she's being presented with a option. So when I say the option is, and what I'm hearing Spirit say right now, like, is if you're someone who is in a relationship, like who is in an actual relationship, whether you're married or you're just, you're booed up with somebody and you live together and so on and so on. It's a matter of, I'm being presented with this situation that's pertaining to a family member. Do I stay here and continue to do what I've always been doing, which is nurturing my relationship? Or do I go and check up on someone who is dear to me, someone who is important to me? Not saying that neither one of them are important, but you have to examine of your reasons for getting up to move, because I feel like Spirit is just telling me, thank you, Spirit. Spirit is telling me like you have to examine whether your reasons for sitting still while watching something happen is because you have to examine of, do you have unhealthy relationship ties to your spouse to the point that you neglect other things that are important to you in order for the sake of keeping everything status quo at home. And I know that's it seems like a little disruptive, it's disruptive energy because it's meant to come through as such, because it's meant to get you to think about what's taking place here. Like, if we've been investing too much time, energy, and effort into someone or something, and it's been in an unhealthy way, well, now God is coming in and he's shaking up stuff, and he's shaking up these foundations that people thought was secure, but he's letting you know that these foundations were built off unhealthy attachments. So therefore, if a lot of people have been neglecting what is important to them deep down inside within their hearts, because this is like heart-based energy is from what I was getting. It's like what's really underneath the surface, meaning like if you've been making choices based off what you think somebody else is going to do, if you've been making choices based off what somebody else, if you've been basing choices off of making decisions based off, okay, well, if I do this, then let's just say my spouse is going to do this. So let's just say hypothetically, give example. If I do this, meaning like if I go and check up on this family member and I'm neglecting my relationship, then my spouse may start doing stuff like going to seek attention elsewhere, in a sense. So some of you guys have been in that unhealthy attachments, meaning like you've based decisions based off stuff like that. So I say, and this is no judgment, I'm just telling you how Spirit has just presented it to me and how it was in a dream. So it came up as if, what is deep down in the heart, meaning like you love your spouse, but it's unhealthy attachments. But there's also other things that need to be tended to over here that are very important and dear to your heart as well too. And it's like you're having the nudge to check up on, to do something different that you've never done before. In other words, so if you've always stood over here in this relationship and kept everything within that relationship and you kept everybody else out, well, now Spirit is almost like bringing you out of your comfort zone and pulling you away from that relationship to have you to go. It's almost like spiritually maturing you and bringing you over here to this area that needs tending to. Like what I'm hearing is like tend to your garden for whatever that may mean for you. It could be something different. It could be a family member. It could be something that's dear to you. Could be your kids. Take it how it resonates. So now he's pulling you out of your comfort zone and he's basically having you to come over here because he's spiritually maturing you in this area that you've been lacking in for so long. So it came in a form as if I just saw like destruction that was just all over the place. Like we had just arrived there. And you know how like during the 4th of July when people do stuff like fireworks and, set off the little rockets and stuff outside of their home or wherever it is they may set it at. And then you see all like the little debris from the paper and stuff all around on the ground and like the little white residue marks from when they set off the firecrackers and stuff. So I saw that everywhere on the ground. That was just letting me know that something something's about to happen, something's getting ready to happen, and it may not necessarily come in that exact form, but it's some sort of destruction that's meant to make you get out of your comfort zone and get up and move, is what I'm hearing Spirit say. Thank you, Spirit. So I say all that to say, when I had arrived there, I noticed that my sister was stressing and she was worrying, where I was keeping calm, but I also saw like fire. Okay, so you imagine like a building, imagine they building a building, right? Okay, so thank you, Spirit. Spirit said use like Costco's. You know how the inside of Costco's look? It looks like a warehouse and some sort, that they just have the separate aisles with the little racks and stuff that they put the foods and stuff on. So he giving it to me in that form. So if you take away the building itself, but you have just the frame of the building, imagine that frame being on fire. So as we were going and trying to check up on, a family member, should I say, I saw like the building of like a Costco's type building on the frame part of it, just the frame, not the walls and all that other stuff, but just the frame, the foundation of the building. Only that was there, and I saw it was like on fire. And I remember saying to the other two people that was following me, I was like, no, don't walk underneath it, because the direction that we needed to go was the direction that we needed to go is with us having to walk through it to go down that particular street to get where we needed to go. So I told them, and I had advised them, I said, no, don't walk through there or underneath it. I said, because that frame could fall on you. So in other words, I was advising them to not go that way. And it was to keep them safe as well, too, to keep all of us safe. So I was telling them that we should walk around because that frame could collapse and fall down on us. Well, that dream pretty much ended there. But I just remember that I remember in the dream that my sister was trying her hardest to follow her intuition, in a sense, to figure out what it is that she should do. So I know, I say all that to say, this is take it how it resonates, because I know some of you guys, it just came to me in that form just so I can explain the story. So some of you guys are in situations right now that you're really trying to get in tune with your intuition, and you're really trying to have your intuition lead and guiding you to the point that it could be stressing you out, and it could be causing some sort of worry and anxiety and so on in regards to the situation, just because you're worried about not just what may possibly happen, but you're also worried about particular people as well too. So anyway, that was one message. Take it how it resonates. So if it's a work situation, if it's a family dynamic, if it's a situation that you're dealing with a coworker, or a situation you're dealing with the boss, or a situation maybe dealing with the neighbor or family member, take it how it resonates. It could be different for everybody. So the second dream came in a form of, the second dream came in a form as if somebody was doing some sort of inspection, right? And they was doing some sort of inspection, like, and let me give it to you like how Spirit was kind of giving it to me. So imagine like when you go to camp, right? And camp, and again, just because I'm giving it to you this way, it could be totally different. It may not be exactly the same, but somewhat similar. But just listen to the words that I'm saying and just take it how it resonates, because the situation is the same, but the scenario is different. So I say all that to say, I could see some people like walking past, and it was particularly like 3 people walking past a window. Just imagine like a let's say a cabin window. Like if you go to camp in a cabin, like they was going to each cabin or each building, take it how it resonates, and they was doing like some sort of inspection. And I remember hearing the people coming in our direction. So because it was myself and someone else inside this cabinet, and it's like we was gathering our stuff up so that we could leave out of that particular cabin, because it's all, when you go to camp, it's usually for 1 week. If you go to overnight camp, it's usually for 1 week. And then the next week, another group of people come, and they stay in the same cabin or whatever the case may be. And the week after that, it's somebody else, a group of people that come. So it came to me in that form, and I saw people walking past a window, and they was doing inspection. And I heard the lady saying, well, yeah, when they leave out, we're going to put such and such in. And let me say this. It came in a form as if it was, she was saying that we're going to put such and such in Brandy's room. Brandy, the artist. And it was letting me know like Brandy, because Brandy is somebody who is in the public eye. She's famous. She's well known. Everybody know her. So it's almost like imagine Brandy set it up camp in let's just say if Brandy went to camp, okay, and Brandy stayed there at the camp, and everybody knew Brandy. So 9 times out of 10, when people go to camp, it's like people gonna want to stay in that same room that Brandy stayed in because her presence, her energy, and everything else is there in that room. So I say all that to say that it was letting me know that this particular person knew what they were kind of doing. So I say all that to say Spirit was just showing me what they were doing. So because a particular person was in a particular environment, I heard her saying she was assigning a particular person, like this is somebody that she knew personally, and she wanted them to be in Brandy's particular spot, or where she was, in other words. And I don't know if that's to, you know, again, just be attached to the energy that's there, or whatever the case may be, that's associated with her. So anyway, but when she came into the cabin where we was at, she said something. I can't remember exactly what she said, but I could see her intentions of what she was really doing and what she was up to. Well, I don't think she liked that because I saw it. And then I said something to her to the point that I'm like, okay. In other words, I was pushing her out the door, and I was trying to lock the door, in other words. But she got a little aggressive in a sense, to where, and by this time, it was just her standing there. So the 2 other people that she was doing an inspection with, they had moved on, but she stood at the door because, again, I had said something to her that kind of like showed her true character, and she didn't like that. And I locked the door. You know how you take the top lock of a door, the bolt-like doors in like an apartment, and well, the ones that look like the old bolt doors that's shaped like this, and you turn the knob, it was kind of like that. And it's like she was banging up against the door, and the bolt kind of bent a little, whatever the case may be. But by this time, before she did that, I was actually pushing her out the door, trying to lock the door to keep her out, because again, I had saw her true intentions. So I say all that to say that, you know, you have some people in some sort of way that somehow trying to make it a point to somehow attach themselves to you, as well as attach themselves to your energy in some sort of way. You know, take it how it resonates, because again, it's going to be different for all people. That was just a scenario of how it was given to me. So just be mindful of that, because some of you guys may find yourself having to put people out or lock people out, whether it's physically or whether it's spiritually you're doing this. And then that was for the second dream. And I say all that to say that some people are not going to like the fact that either one, you're seeing their intentions, and 2, they're not going to like the fact that you're standing up to them. So I'm just letting you know that people are just going through a test right now, and God is presenting this. And like I said yesterday in the other video, it was basically God is giving us these situations and scenarios to it's almost like to guide us to that place that he wants us to be, because it's basically boiling down to people feeling free and no longer feeling bound to other people, trying to control, manipulate, take advantage of, you know, all of those things. Thank you, Spirit. It's meant to release control. And then for the third dream, it came in a form of, let's see. Okay, so this dream came, and bear with me with this one, y'all. Hold on. I felt so unbalanced this morning when I got up this morning. I got up too fast, and I was like, whoa, went too far to the right. So I was like, oh, let me ground myself. So anyway, went and walked the dog and came back in. I was like, you know what, let me drink a cup of coffee. I ain't had one of those in a few days. So I felt like Spirit was just trying to tell me ground myself or whatever, because all this information right here that was just received last night, or this morning, should I say. But anyway, moving on to the third dream. So this one is a kicker. So And this one is very important. So I hope you guys listen to this message to the end. There's so many different messages for people to hear. Actually, you know what? Thank you, Spirit. I'm going to put this one in a separate message because Spirit just telling me put this one in a second message. So I'm going to put this one in a second message. So just look for the video with me having on the same outfit or whatever. But anyway, so let me skip on to this fourth message. The fourth message came in a sense like, it came in the form as if I saw that there were people who, okay. So I saw like a camp. You know how back when, let's just say COVID went down and you saw people like, you know how they were setting up these tents in like New York City. And I think in, what's that park in New York City? Grand Central Park, I think it is. And they were setting up like these white tents there and people was trying to figure out what they was doing underneath those tents and so on and so on. So I say all that to say, like, I saw these tents kind of being set up and I saw like these trailers, like, so I don't know what that's about, but I'm just telling you guys, just be mindful because something is obviously coming. And I've been hearing about this for some time, but I tried not to move on the information too much until God allows me to receive the information because I don't want to, you know, like, in other words, I follow certain people, but it's almost like when they receive a message or if I receive a message, I kind of watch them in a sense because sometimes we receive the same messages, but I just wait in order to I receive my message. And then when I hear it again, it's like a confirming of, you know, just the information. So I've been hearing this for some time now, but I just received it for myself. So now I am sharing the information with you guys. So I saw like a tent with like some, excuse me, with like, hold on y'all. I saw a tent with like some cots there and there was some bunk bed cots. So there was some bump bed cots. I don't know if this was some sort of facility that they were kind of a makeshift facility that they was building where they had these bump bed cots, but they had numbers on it, meaning that they was assigning people to these cots. So I say all that to say, and I saw like a woman and her children. I think she had 2 children. I saw a woman and her 2 children, and it was like a lady came out of the trailer. You know how they set up trailers to like, you know, like how they have blood donation trailers where you go inside, you give your blood, or let's just say, I don't know if they had trailers for COVID or whatever, but nevertheless, they collect information on you and then they basically assign you to one of the beds or whatever. So I say all that to say that it came in a form of, I saw a woman and her 2 children. One child was sitting in a stroller, another child could walk. And she had basically, a lady walked out of the trailer and she was talking to her and basically kind of assigning her to a bunk bed there in the room. But it was letting me know her and her kids were assigned to certain bunk beds, but then there were other beds that were still available. So it lets me know that other people are to come. So where are these people coming from? I do not know. I don't know if these people had jobs and maybe they're losing jobs. I don't know if these people are like considered like refugees from other countries. I don't know. But that's just how God gave it to me. So obviously it's something to be aware of. I don't watch news, so I don't know. But if you see it happening, then you know we're in those times what the event is happening. So anyway, with that being said, and then it skipped from that scene, which is still the same dream. But then I saw myself like in this apartment, like condo, and I was moving in there, right? So that's why I said it was letting me know. I don't know if these people are losing their jobs to the point that they have no place to go because they can't pay their rent. So there's like, they're depending on assistance in some sort of way. Or like I said, I don't know if these people are from, you know, other places that are refugees that they're bringing here. I don't even know if I want to refer to as like refugees, but people from other countries, you know, and forgive me, y'all, because like I said, I don't keep too much up with the news, so I don't really know what's going on. But I don't mean to refer to people as like refugees, but, you know, people when they were having to leave these certain countries and they came I guess they come here from other places. I'm not sure if it's them or if it's people that are already here. So just take it how it resonates. But anyway, and then I saw myself in this dream where I was moving into this new apartment condo life, right? And so when I moved in, I was just I had like my certain stuff that was already in there. And then I was just kind of going throughout the different rooms. And I remember showing like my kids, and I was showing like my niece or whatever the case may be, like, because my niece was there too. And then I was showing them like the different areas of the house. But I was also, as I was walking throughout the house, I was also becoming surprised too, because I was like, oh, I didn't see this before. Like, oh, I like that. I like that. So I say all that to say it was like, and the more I walked through the house, I realized that the house got bigger and bigger and bigger. So I say all that to say that some people are going to find themselves in a situation at a loss and a lack. Again, I don't know if it's due to not having a job, not being able to pay their rent, not being able to pay their mortgage. I'm not sure. And then other people are going to gain, meaning like other people are going to find themselves moving up the ladder while other people are moving down the ladder. So keep that in mind and take it how it resonates. But that's just what I saw. And let's see. And then, hold on, y'all. Okay, so and then this fifth dream came in a form of, this was important too, so very trigger warning. I just want to let you know. This one came in a form of, okay, it was myself, my kids, and my significant other in a dream, right? So we was traveling, and I pulled off on this particular road. I remember I was driving down the road, but something just said turn left. So I turned left really quick. And then I pulled into this parking lot because I can't remember what I pulled into the parking lot for. As a matter of fact, I didn't even see why I pulled into the parking lot, but I knew to turn left. Like something was telling me to go left, and it was just last minute decision. So I pulled into this parking lot, and I was facing this away. And then as I pulled in, I didn't pay attention to the car that was in front of me that was parked this away. So I say all that to say I got out of the truck that we was traveling in, and I walked around to the other side. It's like I don't know if I was sweeping crumbs or something out the truck or whatever. But then as I was doing that, I had noticed a vehicle that was sitting in front of us. And they was facing this way. So as the truck was facing this way, over here across the street, there was like a gas station, and in the dream, it showed up as if there was like a little Caucasian girl, and then it showed as if it was, a little, because the guy who was sitting in the truck, he was black or whatever, and then the kid who was playing with the little girl, he was black or whatever. But take it how it resonates, because this situation can come in any shape or any form in regards to color-wise, so don't just get thrown off with just because the person in the car, but take it how it resonates. Again, it could be a Caucasian person sitting in the car, but take it how it resonates. I'm just telling you just how it was shown to me. So don't just get caught up with just the particular shade of the person that I'm describing, because everybody's situation could be different. But anyway, so as I brushed the crumbs out of the truck or whatever and went and got back into the truck, and then I just noticed him sitting there, and I was like, why is he just sitting there and staring? But I could just tell. It's almost like spiritually my body left my body, and I could see down into his truck what he was doing, and he was sitting there, and it looked like he had this book on his lap, like he was just sitting and observing, taking notes, but he was also smoking a cigarette at the same time. And I couldn't figure out if he was taking notes or if he was reading, but he was sitting there and he was watching the two kids across the street. Well, I didn't get the sense that he was watching the kids to make sure that they were safe, in a sense. Spirit came to me and gave me the message of, that I realized what he was doing. So he basically sent his child over there to play with the little girl, because the little girl, apparently it was something like her parent or her mom, because I got the feeling like her mom owned the gas station, and she was outside jump roping, and the little kid was playing with her, like he was talking to her, he was playing with her, whatever the case may be. And the little kid was just being innocent, being a kid is what I got. But it was his dad, and take it how it resonate, because even though I'm saying it's his dad, it could be a woman doing this as well too, sitting there in observance. It's the energy, I believe. But anyway, so the male was sitting there in observant of his son playing with the other child or whatever. And then it's like I had gotten the feeling of, oh, that's his child. So he sent his child. It's like Spirit was talking to me. It's like he sent his child across the street to play with the little girl as like a distraction, in a sense to coerce her, like to let her guards down a little bit, because she was jump roping. Jump roping takes concentration, and you're focusing, because you got to keep yourself balanced and so on and so on. But when the kid was there, it's almost like she forgot about focusing on that. She was just jump roping and having a conversation with him and having fun. So it was almost like his father sent him there to distract her. So anyway, with all that being said, I got ready to pull off, right? So just as I got ready to pull off, I realized as I pulled off, he made his move, and all I heard was the little girl screaming, right? She's like, ah! So I say all that to say, like, she was yelling for like help or whatever the case may be. And by that time, it had actually, I didn't see the outcome of that, but I remember in the dream, my spouse was just saying like, what did he say? He said something in the dream like, he was trying to tell me like, don't get involved. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that's a child. You know what I mean? She considered innocent. So don't tell me not to get involved, in other words. So I say all that to say that then it switched scenes, right? So I don't know what the outcome of that situation was, but I knew that it was wrong. But because he had said, don't get involved, it's almost like this kind of goes into this. Okay. So because he has said not to get involved. So if you have been someone who's just been playing, how can I say it? Playing it safe. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit should say it, playing it safe. If you've been someone who's been playing it safe and not wanting to react, not wanting to get involved with situations because it's safe for you, and because it keeps stuff from being stirred up, is what I'm hearing. So if you have been someone who has been keeping it safe and keeping quiet when things happen rather than standing up for justice, is what I'm hearing. It's almost like you're under judgment. So I say all that to say, because what had happened next was it switched scenes, right? It switched scenes to where, because my spouse had said something about don't get involved, and I knew the right thing was to get involved. Well, now he was under judgment. Thank you, Spirit. I'm hearing spiritual judgment. So now he's under judgment because he made that accusation of not to get involved. So I saw it as if we had, and I believe, okay, so he needed to go for this meeting, right? And this is the spiritual judgment. He needed to go to this meeting, and he went into this building, and I don't feel like I was there physically with him, supporting him, but I felt like I was there spiritually. So, but I couldn't really, it's like I was being shut out of the meeting. So I walked him into the building spiritually, in a sense. And it's like, he was a little excited because he was about to have this meeting, in a sense, but I don't think he know what was about to come in regards to that situation. It's almost like what I'm hearing Spirit say is like, he's under judgment, one, and two, he's under judgment in regards to like his spiritual team, like his, I guess, the ancestors, God, source, spirit, the heavenly realms, all of them, spirit guides, all of them. So it's almost like he's under judgment. So it's, let me pause for 1 second. You guys know when I did that video, when I said that this man came in here, they was having a spiritual meeting, and he wanted to know that the person he was getting involved with was spiritually strong. And that's all he wanted to know. He wanted to know if somebody was spiritually strong. It was kind of like one of those meetings. That's what I'm referring to now. So I saw that there were, the meeting that he was about to attend, I saw that there was like a Caucasian woman. I saw there was like a Hispanic woman that was there. And I saw just like a variety of people that was coming into this meeting, in other words. So it's almost like this person is almost coming like under judgment, should I say. And it's almost like, so anyway, I couldn't see what was happening, but apparently he went into the meeting. It's like spiritually, I was being shut out from that meeting, in a sense. So I basically kind of went back out the door, and I was just waiting till his meeting was over with. So I went down the street, and it just so happened I walked down the street, and it's like I remember this guy trying to like hit on me. He was making these like sexual innuendos or whatever, comments or whatever, and I just totally ignored him. You know, it's like he was trying to get my attention, but I didn't give him my attention or my time. And he not only did it once, but he did it twice. So I just want to let you know that there could be some people out there who making little comments. You know, try not to be too reactive to it, but try not to accept what it is that they're dishing out, but just try to come from a place of being calm, cool, and collect or whatever. But I just wanted to let you guys know that, just in case you find yourself dealing with that. But anyway, so that was the end of that dream. So I don't know what the outcome is. I guess, you know, again, that's just me getting the message to you guys. So again, so yes, I know it's a lot to take in, but I hope that you're watching to the end. It's so important. But anyway, so moving on to another dream. And I had another dream where it came in the form of, if let's just say like it came in the form of let's just say my oldest son, you know, he's about to turn 30 this year. So I say all that to say he had a childhood friend of his who they went to the child care facility like we had or whatever the case may be. And they were friends there at the child care facility. I'm talking about in real life, like when me and my mom had the daycare center. So it came in a form of as if one of the kids who was there at our daycare, who he used to play with, in other words, like they was having some sort of beef in other words. So I say all that to say, I think God was just giving it to me in that form of to let some of you guys know there could be situations with some of you that may have had childhood friends that, you know, that maybe you may have valued before, or you might have looked up to, or you might have, you know, whatever the case may be. I don't want to say, but whatever the case may be, people that you have been connected to, some of you guys may start finding yourself having some beef with some people, or you may, and if it's not you, some people are going to start having some beef with you. So again, all of this is happening because it's almost like people are being under divine judgment because God had asked people for so long to let people go. And certain people are choosing not to do so. So it's almost like this is the result of not being obedient to what God is asking you guys to do, all for the sake of keeping everything the same. Because again, he's shaking stuff up purposefully, because it's almost like if you take a sifter and if you put dirt in a sifter and you have like the little rock pebbles, well, God is like sifting your life in the sense that he's sifting everything out of there that doesn't need to be there, meaning everything that's falling through is what needs to be there. Whatever debris that is left inside the sifter, like the rocks, the pebbles, and all that other stuff, those are stuff that can't go with you, and you need to release it and let it go, because it's almost like he's trying to make your load lighter. So if you think about repotting a plant soil, and if you take the whole plant out and you got to literally take all the dirt off from around the roots or whatever to just add new dirt, he has to get rid of that stuff. So that's exactly what he's trying to do. But anyway, so this other dream, that one was the fifth dream. Okay. Fourth dream. I think this is the fifth dream. Okay. So this dream came in a form of okay. Thank you, Spirit. So this dream came in the form of, my daughter was asking me in the dream, right? She said, Mom, she said, did you read that paper that you signed off on at the hospital, whatever the case may be? I say all that to say, because I told you guys that I had a situation to where, you know, I was dealing with a family situation to where a family was, how can I say it? They were refusing care at the hospital, whatever the case may be, because they don't really care for the hospitals. And, you know, who am I to judge, or whatever the case may be, in regards to that situation, or who is anybody else to judge in the situation? And this is why so many people are under spiritual judgment right now. But it came in the form of, she asked me if I read the paper, and I was like thinking to myself, like, yeah, I read the paper, but I didn't see anything on the paper that stated this part, because what she said was, she said on the paper that it states something about that at the bottom of the hospital, they put people down in the basement part of the hospital sometimes. And I'm thinking to myself, like, the basement part, are these people alive when they're doing that? Or are these people deceased when they're doing it? Because I didn't get the form. I didn't, when she said that, that's what I asked myself in the dream. And I don't remember, Spirit had brought to my attention of these people weren't deceased when this was being done. These people were alive when they were being done, when it's being done. So it's just letting me know that there was something going on in regards to the bottom part of the basement. I'm not sure if this is of a hospital or if this, oh wow. Synchronicities from the universe. Thank you, Spirit. From the hospital, because I was just about to say, I'm not sure if this is like a hospital that they're referring to, because she mentioned a hospital, or if it was like pertaining to like one of those, what do you call it? Oh, wow. Y'all hear that, right? It's the synchronicities of the universe. Thank you, Spirit. It was, why now is that acting up? Anyway, it was the psychiatric facilities. I was thinking about that. That's what I was about to say. And then all of this started happening. So either between a hospital or some sort of psychiatric, facilities or whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, the situation I was dealing with was at a hospital. So I say all that to say that, just with that message that came through, I'm not sure. But if some of you guys have situations to where, you may possibly have some family members in a situation or dynamic like that, whether it be hospital or whether it be psychiatric facilities or whatever the case may be, you guys might want to re-examine, because what I'm hearing Spirit say is like, re-examine your thinking. Re-examine your thinking. Re-examine your thinking. Hold on. This is coffee, y'all. It's coffee, but it's turmeric tea also, too. I made turmeric in it, and it's actually good. But anyway. Yeah. Spirit was just saying you might want to re-examine your decisions on situations pertaining to that. Re-examine and re-examine and I'm getting the feeling of have a different perspective or look a little deeper. Have a different perspective or look a little deeper. Take it how it resonates. Because what they just showed me was what I was just shown was like somebody maybe trying to get someone some help in a sense. Getting someone some sort of help. But it's not the type of help that they think they need, in other words, is what I'm hearing. Take it how it resonates. Anyway, so that was pretty much it for that message. But what I'm going to do is real quick, because like I said, I have one more message, but I'm going to keep that one separate because that one's very important. So please watch that message. And I think it's so funny because, when I pulled these cards, I don't use this right away deck too much, but I pulled ahead of time some cards, right? And the first card that came out was Page. This means immaturity, right? So some people have been a little bit immature when they've made their decision. But right now, this is like being, spiritual law and spiritual advisor. Like, I'm giving you guys the information and it's up to you what you choose to do with it. So I'm just here just to be a messenger and you take it how it resonates. So some of you guys are like under spiritual judgment right now in a sense. And this card, the World card, was in reverse. So it's just letting me know like you're stuck in cycles, and it's like some people are stuck in cycles, and it's almost like cycles. Stuck in cycles, it creates delays. And with delays and being stuck in cycles, it keeps you from moving forward. So in other words, in order to get this card to move upright, it's almost like you guys got to change your perspective on things. But real quick, let me do this. I'm not going to make this long because I have to do this other video, and it's already 44 minutes. Spirit, what message do you have for the collective? What do you want them to know? What message and spiritual guidance do you want them to know at this time? That is a pure white light, pure unconditional love only. What message do you want the collective to know? What message do you want the collective to know? Bear with me, y'all, because I told you these cards are so... Shit. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. So we got healing. We're all healing in some sort of way. And it says the frequency of healing supports our intrinsic ability... Oh, God, am I saying it right? Intrinsic abilities to restore our health and our wholeness by consciously using the information that comes to us through our senses and harmonize everything accordingly. So that's what God is doing. He's trying to heal things. Prosperity was the second card. And it says the frequency of prosperity supports our feelings of well-being. Thank you, Spirit. The frequency of prosperity supports our feelings of well-being by allowing the inclusions of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, and soul and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. And then we have the divine feminine. All of a sudden that thing just started. Anyway, so it says the frequency of divine feminine supports our perspective, nurturing our soft side. Oh my God, like this is what I just said. Like when I said in the dream that I said that my spouse had told me don't get involved, and I knew the right thing was to get involved, and because he had to have this meeting, it was letting me, thank you, and I hear the ambulance outside. And I don't mean to laugh, y'all, but I'm not laughing, but just spirits just showing up, because sometimes I'm being given this message and I hear the machine going off over here, and it's just like, it's like everything, my phone, the machine, the ambulance. I mean, like, it's a sense of urgency. Okay. And the way it's clicking, I wish you could see it, but it's like an emergency is like what spirit is trying to say in a sense. Like the way it's clicking. And then my daughter come down and stop. Uh-oh, sorry. But anyway, so with all that being said, so God is telling you guys, this is a sense of urgency. Like you need to deal with this situation. You need, I hope you guys are hearing me. These are not my words, because I always try to pull these cards so that way you know it's just not me speaking, but you hear me, you see me shuffling on camera, and Spirit is speaking also. So this is a sense of urgency that needs to be taken care of. So anyway, but again, it says the frequency of divine feminine supports our perspective of nurturing. God's trying to get us all to a place of unconditional love. We have to learn how to care about people a little bit more, not looking at people and hating on people, because honestly, when we hate on other people, what you're saying and telling God is that you hate yourself, because looking at other people is a direct reflection of yourself. So I say all that to say that, is something coming up? I mean, literally, if you can see the way it's flashing, it's just like a sense of urgency. But anyway, So yeah, he's just trying to get us out of our old habits and get more into a place of our heart base, you know, caring about people, not being so not coming from a place of, hold on y'all, not coming from a place of, you know, just being heart-based, you know, being in your heart space, caring about people, you know, when you see people go through stuff and being empathetic.
System armed, stay.
Let me see if that's going to stop it. Anyway, so, yeah, so he's trying to get us more into our soft side, because some of us has been so rigid. That message came in like last week, you know, when I pulled the moon cards. It was talking about resistance. Some of you been holding on to the old ways for so long and not wanting to change. And it's like now that change, that it's like that, it's like go time is here. So anyway, it says allowing it to express itself openly and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding. Am I saying that right? Intrinsic understanding, if you guys know what I'm trying to say. Understanding of a connection to all of creation. Meaning like, you know, you guys heard me having my issues in regards to my neighbor, you know. I say all that to say that I've had issues with the neighbors down the street at one point in time. And I say all that to say they're another nationality. And then it's almost like I had, and I know sometimes you guys are probably saying, well, wait a minute, if you had issues with all these people, you sure you're not the corporate or whatever the case? No, this is not the case, because I tell you not. I have been there for each and every one of these people, should I say. But then when God started revealing stuff to me, I pulled back my energy. And when you pull back your energy, people don't like that. Why? Because you're not now giving your time, your attention, your energy to them. And it's like they feel like you're missing, they feel like they're missing something in their life, because when you was there, everything was fine and costatic. But now that you remove your energy from them, it's almost like it's hard for them to function in a sense, like, because it's almost like you being around it almost like help them to be in a better headspace, should I say. So I say all that to say it's like everything is just thrown out of whack, and everything was meant to happen like that because it was meant to get people out of their, you know, comfort zones. And I say all that to say, like, classic example, some people have been dealing with the situation of generational curses, you know, family members, grandmas, great grandmas, take it how it resonates. They, you know, did stuff like pass down, you know, and it doesn't matter because this can come in any shape or form, you know, is what God was just bringing to my attention the other day. I know that it comes in every shape or form, you know, whether it's Black, Hispanic, Asian, you know, it doesn't matter, any race. But the point of the matter is people have done stuff like resorted to, you know, witchcraft, black magic, all because they said somebody did something to them, which is so funny. And I don't mean to switch subjects real quick, but I had actually had a conversation the other day, like with my mechanic, right? And I just had to ask, and I said, you know, hey, I said, let me ask you a personal question. Since you asked me a personal question, I feel like I was being divinely guided to ask him that, right? So he was like, he said, yeah, go ahead. I said, since you asked me a personal question, I thought to myself that was fair enough. Did you answer my question? So, and he was like, yeah, go ahead. So I asked him, I said, well, where are you from? And I'm not going to say where he's from, but he told me where he was from. And he's not from where I thought he was from. So I say all that to say, and I asked him, I said, you know, I asked him just like this, and I paused for a minute. And I said, so where you're from, like, do people, because we kind of somewhat had a brief conversation about this some time ago. And I said, do people practice, you know, black magic and, you know, witchcraft and all that other stuff? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, and I think I kind of caught him off guard a little bit, but I felt like he was expecting something for me to have a conversation about something, like he sensed something. And then he said, yeah. And then he was like, you know, I said, but why? Because I was trying to understand. It is like it was trying to give me some closure so I can let it go and and be done with it. Because, I told you my neighbor, she was trying that, to do stuff or whatever the case may be. And I didn't like that because I knew I wasn't doing that to her. So why are you doing that to me or trying to do stuff to my family? And I had an issue with that. And spiritually, yes, I was meant to stand up to her and create boundaries to not allow her to cross across those boundaries. I know some of you guys probably looked at me like, what? Like she's on social media talking about what she did with her neighbor, but yet she's supposed to be spiritual. No, what I did not know was that there's something called having spiritual boundaries, and I didn't realize that too. So I know I had physical boundaries at times, or somewhat, until I knew I really needed to cross lines and not allow people to cross those lines. But I also had to have spiritual boundaries as well too. And I explained to you guys before about how people can psychically spy on you, or unwanted eyes or unwanted ears can kind of seep into your home if you're not spiritually protecting yourself. I had to learn all those things. So I say all that to say, and I asked him, I said, well, why do they do that? And he was just saying, well, they usually say sometimes because somebody did something to them, or I can't remember I know he said that, but I couldn't also remember if he said because they didn't like somebody. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if somebody did something to you, why not go to them and say something or whatever the case may be? Just like I said to my neighbor, like, it took me a minute to say something because I felt like I needed to make sure that I was doing the right thing. But then I also felt like I was being trapped of speaking your truth to her when something she was doing and not bringing it to her attention. It was almost like that spiritual, what was it called? Spiritual claptrap, I think it was called, will keep you stuck and from doing what it is, you need to do spiritually. So I say all that to say it was a situation it wasn't until the planetaries had shifted in the line, it was like, it was forcing me to speak up because it was within my heart. Like, why would she do this? Why would she do this? Why would she do this? So that was in my heart. And it's like I was manifesting that, the situation. And obviously it came out the way that it did when I approached her. Then the cops were called and so on and so on, but nevertheless, I saw that she was trying to play innocent in a process. And that's what these karmics do out here. They play like they innocent because she was trying her hardest to play innocent when the cops was here. Like, no, she's the problem, not me. And I was like, wow, because she was so used to her husband always speaking up and protecting her, but her husband wasn't home that day that it happened. So I guess everything happened for a reason, the way that it did. But nevertheless, I thought he was going to say something when he got home. I was prepared and I was ready, because I was about to let him know, do you know your wife does witchcraft? Because I feel like so many of these men out here, either they know or they don't know, because they get into these relationships with people and then they don't ask them what are their spiritual backgrounds, when sometimes behind the scene, these people are doing these things undercover. And sometimes, thank you, Spirit's also bringing to my attention, showing me that sometimes they're doing it undercover to the point that they put in magic and witchcraft around them so they can't see the truth. So therefore, even if I would have said something to him, he may not have even believed it, because she might have put some stuff around him for him not to be able to see the truth. But I do remember that God was showing me in a dream that her husband was trying to tell her, no, stop, leave her alone, because he realized that it was bringing, I'm hearing clemency onto their family in a sense. Like, it was like the more she was messing with us was the more it's like I started to see them kind of suffering in a sense. So I'm not saying that to boast or brag about that, but that's just God's way of just trying to get people's attention of, when you keep doing stuff, because there's that scripture in the Bible. It says, touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. I had to remind myself of that, of what was happening, because I know these people are probably looking at me like, is she doing witchcraft on me? And I promise you, I lie to you not. Like I tell you, I am that 100%. I'm sorry, I say this a lot. I am that 100% bitch who is 100% real. So I say all that to say that, that's not my cup of tea. That's not what my heart space is. My heart space is I am true and I'm authentic. I am authentic. But when something I see I don't like and I don't care for, I speak up on it. So in other words, if you're manipulating, harming, or taking away somebody's innocence and so on and so on, yes, I have a problem with that. So then that's when you will probably see a side of me that you like, wait, whoa, you know what I mean? But it's just me being real, because the truth of the matter is, anytime you're trying to take away somebody's free will, if somebody tells you no and you keep doing it, that's a form of violation. If somebody tells you to stop it and you're still doing it, that's a form of violation. You know, it just depends on what you're doing. You know, if you're trying to give somebody a message and they're not listening because you already see what the end results are, then that's a different situation opposed to trying to manipulate somebody and getting them to do what you want to do and getting them to do what you want them to do because you have an intent. But then there's that situation of where you're spiritually trying to save them. And even that, I have to say this. I know sometimes I have to spiritually let go because I see loved ones and I see the end results. And it's like, you don't see the end results. So it's like I've been in that habit of trying to save people for some time. And literally God was just like pulling me by the, you know, it was like, back it up. Let them learn their lessons so that they get the pictures. You know how sometimes you burn yourself and the only way to get the moral of the story is just by being burnt by the fire. So God had to tell me to back it up. But anyway, so yes. You'll see a different side of me, and there's nothing wrong with that because right is right and wrong is wrong, should I say. And I know that there's really no right or wrong. But if somebody tells you to stop in a sense and you're violating their free space or their free will, then that's a form of manipulation because now you want them to do what you want them to do because it makes you feel better rather than them to be able to be free to move about and do what it is that they want to do or need to do or whatever their lessons may be to learn. So yes, I know that's a hard lesson for all of us to learn, but even I myself had to let go of certain situations and, you know, allow people to be themselves. And even if that's to learn the lesson or whatever. But anyway, let me finish. So the last card is consciousness. God is trying to get us to a place of consciousness. And it says the frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all of the multidimensional aspects that show up. And that's what's happening right now so that we can include them in our reality. So with all that being said, oh, sorry. Let me pull these angel oracle cards real quick, and then I'm going to end this video. Spirit, what message do you have for the collective? What message do you have for the collective? And I'm sorry this video is long, y'all, but I really hope y'all stayed to the end just to hear these messages because that way you'll be aware of what's coming. Oh, and I can definitely tell you something's going on with like the throat chakra. So I don't know what that's about. Some of you guys need to speak your truth to free yourselves. And that message has been around for some time now too. So, you know, the way to liberate yourself is to speak your truth. I know I had to speak my truth the other day to family members and literally family members had to, you know, everything that had been going on for like the last 10 years, 15 years. Well, I've always been open to having a conversation with these individuals, but I don't think they were ever listening to me. So the opportunity presented itself. So I spoke up and said what I needed to say. And, you know, because again, whatever's in your heart and whatever's needs to be cleared out, that's what God is in the process of doing. So if there's something that you haven't spoke up yet, which is so funny because this conscious card, it is the color blue. And I told you guys, like in that dream yesterday in regards to the teacher, it was the color blue also. All right, Spirit, thank you. What message you have collected? Spirit, what light, patience, message do you have for the collective? What do you want them to know in regards to these messages? What do you want them to know? Whoa, that one flew out. Courage. Archangel Ariel, be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. Wow, just said that. No more backing down. This is a part of going through the being spiritually strong and standing up for what's right. Thank you, Spirit. And just know that in the process of you doing so, it says you are safe. Archangel Michael, I am protecting you against lower energies and guarding you, your loved ones, and your home. I know I had to Spirit had gave me this message some time ago, and I had to remember that, and I had to keep telling myself, I'm protected, I'm protected. As I speak and say what it is I need to say, just know when you speak up, the more you do it, the more you're gonna start to feel courageous and strong in doing so, especially when you see something that's wrong. I know it's hard, and I know you think it to yourself like, oh my gosh, should I do this? Because God's trying to get you out of that environment of staying safe. In other words, like not saying anything, not speaking up, not stepping up to the plate. Because I told you guys last week where it says that God is going to have some people, whether it's a masculine energy or whether it's a masculine archetypes, step up to the plate to help protect those who are, let's just say, spiritually weak in a sense. And I found myself kind of doing that like last week. So some of you guys may start finding yourself in that situation when you see something that's wrong and God is forcing you to, step up to the plate in order to speak out against, or speak out and doing something that you're not used to doing. In other words, getting you out of your comfort zone is what I'm hearing Spirit say. So in the last one, which is most important, indigo and crystal children. So, and I just said in that video that man was sitting there plotting and he had his son to go over to play with the girl. Well, whether that's happening spiritually or whether that's actually happening in the sense of a physical sense. And thank you, Spirit. So in a sense, with the man sitting there plotting, it could be two situations is what Spirit was giving me. That actually three. One, it could be a spiritual situation. And two, it's a situation of a physical situation that's really happening, meaning like somebody's trying to snatch up somebody's child. And be mindful of that, being aware, being, physically as well as spiritually aware. Listen to your instincts, listen to your gut feeling, observe, look, pay attention to your surroundings. I didn't say you have to go overboard with it, but I know me, when I'm walking out the house, it's always like I'm always in observance. Like Spirit put my antennas up. And some things I try not to pay attention. Not that I try not to pay attention, but Spirit is always bringing my attention to something. So I say all that to say that's God's way of growing us and evolving us, because it's like he's spiritually bringing things to our attention. Whether they're issues that we need to address and say something and speak up on, or just something that Spirit just wants us to know in general. But anyway, so the other one was if it's not the situation, because some people, it could be a situation of somebody trying to snatch up somebody's child. And I realize that because this indigo crystal children card is here. But the other situation is the situation of the little girl. She could actually be an adult, because let me say this. Thank you, Spirit. Because there are situations where we are adults. Some people can be adults. You could be in your 60s, you could be in your 80s, but your spirit could be childlike. And then you could have some young children who are like 8 or 9 years old, but they are spiritually mature. You know how like you see kids with old souls? My kids, they grew up. They were old souls, okay? Trust me when I tell you. My kids were old souls, especially the last two or whatever. But I say all that to say, so this could also be a form of the girl could be an adult, but have a childlike spirit. So I say all that to say it could also come in a form of this man, because I see that he's plotting. I know he's plotting. I see it. And Spirit was bringing that to my attention. He's plotting and he's using a child. So if you are in a situation to where a child is involved in some way, shape, or form, and you are using the child to manipulate somebody else in some sort of way in order to get them to let down their guards, be mindful of that. Because like I said, this card is here, being under spiritual judgment and having to answer for that, whoever you are. And even if you're on the receiving end of this and you're not aware of it, but let's just say hypothetically, if you have a child with somebody and maybe there's some issues going on with, maybe the two parents aren't getting along, but maybe the dad either got a hidden agenda or maybe the mom got a hidden agenda of, well, let me try to see if they let their guards down a little bit, get them to relax. Because remember, it's your intent. Your intention is what God is looking at. If your intentions aren't pure, that's what God is looking at. So if you come in with a hidden motive, if you are coming with intentions of trying to manipulate, thank you, Spirit. If you come in with the intentions of trying to manipulate somebody, period, that's what the issue is. So again, if you have intentions to do what's right, that's a different story. And, you know, your heart is in the right place, you know, like, hey, well, you know, I just want to support you and make sure you get what you need. Not just, I want to support you because I want you to do what I want you to do so that I can feel comfortable and at ease and I don't have to worry about you. You see the difference between the two? That's the point I'm talking about. But anyway, it says indigo and crystal children. Archangel Metatron, you have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. So again, some of you guys may be asked to step up to the plate. You know, Spirit was kind of give me, like, if you hear something going on, I don't know, like Spirit just showed me, like, if you hear something going on with a child in an apartment somewhere, you know, picking up the phone and calling the police or whatever is what Spirit just said. So if you was somebody before that might have heard a kid, you know, sound like they were crying and it's constantly, you know, it's a matter of, it's a matter of not ignoring the warning call. Like I just said, that alarm just went off, you know, and it was just flashing, you know, just kept doing this. Not ignoring the warning call, but acting, you know, even if you call the police and the police come out and there's nothing wrong, but it's the matter of you acting. Even if you call the police and then something ends up being wrong, you're going to end up thanking yourself in the end, because it could have been a situation of maybe that child could have been taken and that may not have been their child. Or it could be a situation of a child may have been abused and nobody know that that child was being abused in any kind of way, whether it be, you know, physically or mentally or whatever the case may be, or emotionally. So you don't know, but it's just the fact of the matter of, you know, you stepping into your sensitive side and you're coming from a place of just being concerned rather than just saying, oh, well, it's not my child, so let me just move on. You know what I mean? Because for too long, so many people, I mean, it's almost like God is trying to get us to go back to that, you know, I got a picture up on the wall, right? And it's like people holding up a child, and it's like it takes a village to raise a child. It's almost like God's trying to get us to go back to that mindset. I know for me, when I was in childcare, it's like even kids I saw on the street or whatever the case may be, it's almost like, even if I didn't know these kids or whatever, it was almost like, let's say hypothetically, like, because when my son was in middle school, I would just walk him to the bus stop. You know what I mean? He didn't need me to walk him to the bus stop. I just walked him to the bus stop because that was just part of my routine, you know, in the morning before I go walk. He goes get on this bus. It's just me having a conversation with him. I feed him his words of encouragement, you know, be great, be smart, be wise, be successful. Know that you can have, be, and do anything you want in life. And know that, and reminding him that he is, you know, protected or whatever. And just know that he is not it was something else I used to say too, but I said it to him. I said it to my daughter every day when they would go off to school. I was feeding their spirit to let them know that they were somebody, because, you know, the world will be out here trying to tell you that you're not nobody. So I felt the need as a mom to feed them that every single morning, you know. But anyway, so with all that being said, those are all the message. I'm going to put this second message, which is so important. And this, I'm going to tell you what it is. The second message has something to do with insecurities, physical insecurities. Okay, so that's what that topic is gonna, I'm not sure if that's gonna be the topic, but I'm telling you that's what it was about. But I'm gonna keep that one separate so that way you exactly understand. So hopefully you guys watch this to the end. I do apologize for going on an hour and 12 minutes and 55 seconds, but God just gave me seven or eight different dreams last night, so I just had to make sure I get you guys a message. I felt like it was important. I felt like it was urgent. So, you know, he was pushing me, so I'm just giving it to you guys so that way you'll have it. But anyway, I wish you all much love, much light. Remember to always keep God first and foremost in your heart, and just know that everything is happening, and it's happening for a reason. It's happening at divine timing, and it's happening because he's trying to spiritually evolve us to become, what I'm saying is, if you think about a man becoming strong, whether it's be a man or a woman, becoming strong and putting on their combat boots. Thank you, Spirit. He's spiritually equipping you to step up to the forefront, to be a protector in a sense, to protect the innocent. That's what I'm hearing. So anyway, until the next video, much love, much light. Bye.